Ahead now on Animal Outtakes, inspiring curiosity, one encounter at a time. In this week's show, we're making connections and developing compassion at the Florida Aquarium. See how you can get up close with a stingray and why this interaction could garner a sense of responsibility toward living creatures. Plus, we slow it down a little bit and meet Liana, who's enjoying her morning snack. And later in the show, we go behind the scenes to find out all about this playful penguin. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. In this day and age, you can pretty much pull up anything you want in the palm of your hand. It's often information overload that comes with a wide variety of positives and sometimes negatives. We here at Animal Outtakes have been visiting animal sanctuaries and nonprofits for many years. And I'll tell you what, seeing an animal up close and in person never gets old. There's just something about being able to witness how they interact with the world around us. So we thought that we would take a trip to the Florida Aquarium to take some time to try and show you through the screen why encounters with animals can change your perspective. We start our tour with the stingrays.
I really think our guests should come and interact with these animals to get a really good appreciation for them and see how gentle, how graceful, how calm they really are. There's that really bad misconception that stingrays are very dangerous, where they're really not. They're very relaxed, they're very calm, and they'll move around you. When you see that, when you're here interacting up close with them, you'll really have that appreciation for them. We're here at the Florida Aquarium. This is our stingray habitat we call Stingray Beach. It includes different species of stingrays, including cow-nose stingrays, a southern stingray, blue spot ribbon-tail, and blue spot masta ray. Stingrays are essentially a cartilaginous fish, meaning they're made of cartilage, just like your nose or your ears, so they don't have any bones in their body. So they're very flexible, but they're a little bit different. They're essentially a smushed down or shortened version of a shark. So that is Sabas, our male southern stingray. This is another species that's found here in Florida, usually more in the southeast portion of Florida, and in the Bahamas they're very, very common. Once again, bottom-dwelling species. This is a male, so he's a little bit smaller. Females in that species can get up to 6 feet wide, 200 pounds, so bigger and heavier than myself. But as a male, this is about full grown. This is as big as he's going to get. Fun things with stingrays are a little bit different than people. They can actually feel vibrations. So if you ever heard maybe the lesson or thought maybe in school as an adult to shuffle your feet or do the stingray shuffle in the sand as you're walking on the beach, that's them feeling those vibrations. They have an extra sense. It's kind of a gel-filled sac. It's a big term, ampullae of Lorenzini, and allows them to feel those vibrations. So they can feel electrical currents, they can feel people's feet shuffling through the sand, anything that's gonna cause a sound or a vibration in the water, they can feel on top of seeing, smelling, all those other senses that they have. So they're gonna eat different types of crabs, shellfish, bivalves, so clams, and really anything they're gonna find in the sand. So they're gonna be hunting and finding and foraging food in the sand and on the bottom. So they actually forage really uniquely. They'll swim over a patch of sand, feel that vibration. That's what the adaptation is for. They'll find it, they'll lay they're called subrostral lobes in the sand. They'll blow all that sand out from that animal that might be buried, and they'll suck up that animal into their mouth. Stingrays are a little different. They don't have true teeth like we think about, either flat or sharper teeth. They have two flat fused plates in their mouth that they're gonna use to crush up things. So our animals get whole clam shells that they can actually suck up the shell, crush it up, eat the meat, and spit out the shell. So this is our dental plate. So we talked about having a top and bottom plate. So this is most likely going to be one of their top plates. So it is fused and flat on the bottom, and that's where they're going to suck those food items up and crush. So they don't have teeth like we do. They have fused plates just like this. A little of concern with them is they have a barb at the base of the tail. Now they don't shoot it at you, they're not going to swim backwards and attack you with it. It's their last line of defense they're going to use to protect themselves. Usually the behavior with stingrays, they're going to swim away when they're scared or spooked. So they are going to dart off really quick in the other direction, and then that barb is the last resort for them. They live in large groups or schools, and they'll migrate together as a large group. So in that school, they'll have different social dynamics. So they can be more energetic, more laid back, a little more food motivated or hungry. Some are larger and some are smaller. Just like people, they all have different personalities. I think they feel like wet leather. It's kind of a weird thought to think about, but they're soft and they're a little slimy. So they, like we talked about, they're cartilaginous, so they're gonna be softer than like a bony fish, like a sturgeon or a carp if you've ever touched those. And they're also gonna be slimy because they have a slime coat that helps protect them from other ectoparasites or external parasites. We have an all-female cow-nose population. That helps us with managing of the species. They could have up to 4 babies twice a year. 4 to 6 babies is usually your average twice a year. So if even half our population, so we had 4 or 5, we're talking, let's use 5 as an example, 25 per breeding cycle times 2 is 50 pups, which is the baby stingrays. That's what they're called, they're pups. 50 babies per year that they are breeding. So as a proper ethics and animal management, we keep just a female population that have been with us a very long time, over 15 years. A lot of these animals have been with us. They will live, usually the old verbiage was about 20 to 25 years in human care, which is a little bit longer. You think about there's no predation, there's free and great welfare and medical care, and plenty of free nutritionists that comes along with it, so the perfect trifecta as well. For them, we'll get a full physical every single year in all of these animals. We have females, so they'll get a full eye exam, blood work, ultrasounds. We actually do trim their barbs back just to keep them safe for our guests in case there are any challenges. It's made of a very similar material like your fingernail, so it's just like trimming a long fingernail. And we do that fully under sedation just in case they don't feel anything. So make it really safe for them. Animal well-being is our priority. So they'll get that full workup every year. They also get a quarterly welfare assessment to make sure their well-being is top of mind for us. That's one of our main goals here at the Florida Aquarium. Then also day-to-day, we're checking in on them, looking for any marks. So one way that we do that is with specialized feeding. So each one of these stingrays, there are 3 different types of training for them. They are target trained, which means they come to a particular object and they are hand fed. It's completely safe. It gives our biologists an opportunity to look at their overall backside, their eyes, any scratches, wounds, anything that maybe they would have incurred from each other or anyone else, just to do kind of a quick welfare check on them every single day. So it is an exclusive up-close encounter that we do with our rays. It's really an opportunity for our guests to get hands-on and really feed our stingrays and also participate in some of our training. So they're going to do a lot of that different target training, tactile, we call just touching of the back. So they desensitize them to some of our medical procedures. So really getting our guests hands-on with what some maybe the medical stuff we're working on and some of the animal training. These animals get a very prepared prep diet that's very specific towards them every day. We have different food items every single day, so you're learning what that process looks like, what our commissary space actually looks like, and then coming up here and really interacting with the rays. So learning about where their barbs are, you're learning about those 2 fused plates instead of teeth that they have. You're participating in some of our animal training. So it's a great opportunity for both our little smaller children as our guests all the way up to our adults to really have those opportunities. For me, these group of stingrays are really they're an ambassador for their species. If you can see it, you can fall in love with it, you can want to protect it. It's a really quote that stuck with me throughout my career, and that's the message that I want to pass along to our guests that they pick up. If also they learn something along the way as an educational conservation organization, I think that's key. If we can have a passion, we can enjoy seeing something, we learn at the same time, those are the perfect trifecta.
Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, we're learning about this slow-going sloth. Find out what her favorite treats are, along with some fun facts you may not know. After the break.
At Dante's Den Foundation, we let the dogs tell us who they are. We welcome our boarding friends with open arms and open hearts. When your pup spends time with us, we offer a personalized experience, from how they like to play to when they need to relax. Our staff is on site 24/7, and we honor dietary needs along with special requests. We do our best to make it a home away from home by providing a safe and comfortable environment. Dante's Den Foundation. It's a great place to be a dog.
Welcome back. A lot of us can carry a lot of stress at times. But did you know interacting with animals can lower your stress? It can reduce anxiety and even put you in a good mood. Well, we found the perfect candidate for this mission. She's got 2 toes on each limb, adorable ears, and takes the whole slow down, take it easy to another level.
Today with us, we do have Liana. She's a Linnaeus' two-toed sloth. We do have 2 Linnaeus' two-toed sloths at the aquarium. We have a 10-year-old male named Apapori, and Liana here is about 2 years old. So she has been here with us for a little over a year at this point in training. Unfortunately, this is a species that is heavily impacted by the exotic animal trade. So we're really excited to be able to offer our guests an opportunity to see this species in a responsible way, up close and personal here at the Florida Aquarium. So you would think that an animal that sleeps 15 to 20 hours a day would be very easy to care for, but that is farthest from the case. Unfortunately, they need very specific habitat temperatures as well as humidity. So they do have fermentation in their gut, and if it's too warm, that upsets the microbes in their gut and their digestion. If it's too cold, that upsets the microbes in their gut and their digestion. They also have a very specific nutrient requirement. So naturally, they do eat a lot of different types of leaves. So if they're getting too rich of a diet, that also can upset their stomach. So we do make sure that their habitats are always within range for this species, which is often 80 degrees, 80% humidity, which is very, very warm. And then they do have a low nutrient diet as well. They also have really great different personalities. Even between the 2 different sloths that we have here, they are vastly different. So it is really fun to get to learn and know each of our individual sloths. Linnaeus' two-toed sloths are actually the heaviest of these 6 sloth species. So she is about 15 plus pounds, but it also does depend on when they have last used the restroom. You may know a fun fact about sloths is that they do use the restroom about once a week. So when they do go to the bathroom, they can lose up to 1/3 of their body weight, which is comparable to a 165-pound person losing about 55 pounds.
Who has to clean that up?
The biologist. We do. Sloths are very well developed for maneuvering throughout the tree canopies. However, you would not believe they also can swim. One of my favorite fun facts about sloths is that they also can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes, which is about 4 times longer than a bottlenose dolphin. They are herbivores, but they can occasionally find a bird egg up in the tree canopy as well. So sometimes they will also eat insects that are in their fur. If you were to see a sloth in their natural environment, their fur is an entire little ecosystem. They have fungus and bacteria that allow insects to thrive in their fur, so they may eat those as well. There is actually an insect even called the sloth moth that primarily only lives in sloth fur. So they can eat insects, occasional bird eggs, a lot of different types of leaves as well. Here at the Florida Aquarium, we do give them different types of browse. So Liana does enjoy elm. She also really enjoys hibiscus flowers, but we will also give them some greens, which we do vary every day as well. So she does get a lot of romaine. It may be bok choy, escarole, red leaf. And then we do use a small portion of her diet for some high fiber veggies. She particularly does enjoy some bell peppers, zucchini, and yellow squash that we use primarily for training, and is also what our guests are able to feed in our sloth encounter. Everyone on the team is a big animal lover, but we also worked pretty hard to get into this field. So we do all have a 4-year degree in a science-related field, and it's a lot of hard work caring for the animals every day, prepping diets, cleaning after them. But first and foremost, we do love the animals, and we also want to get their message out. A major part of my job here is to educate about the species, but also the conservation message behind all of the different species that we care for. Well, we want people to feel inspired to do their part to help out sloths as well. So you may think, what can I do even here in the United States? But we do always educate our guests about purchasing things at the grocery store with a fair trade label. So if you do see something with a fair trade label, that ensures that that is a sustainable product, which can affect sloths if you're purchasing products that come from Central or South America where they're native to. So a big product that you can look for that fair trade label on is going to be your coffee beans.
Stay with us. There's more animal encounters coming up next. You may have watched them in movies a time or two, and if you're fortunate enough, maybe you've seen one of them in the wild. It's the African penguin. The species inhabits several places along the coast of South Africa, but lucky for us, there's a colony at the Florida Aquarium where encounters are offered to those who want to take part in enrichment and want to learn more about these very special birds.
Come on, Pebbles. Pebbles is one of our African black-footed penguins. There you go, buddy. He's one of 9 that are here with us at the Florida Aquarium as part of our colony right now. African penguins are found all along South Africa and Namibia. They're a coastal bird, so they don't need to migrate very far. So they're a warm weather bird, unlike some other penguins. There's 18 species of penguins in total, and most of them are actually warm weather birds like these guys. We have what's called our Penguin Encounter program, and basically you get to be up close and personal with our penguins. We do it 6 days a week right now, and you can meet one of our 9 penguins. I think it's important for this species especially. They're a really popular species across the board. Most zoos and aquariums do highlight some kind of a penguin, but this species is one that's really important because they're actually considered critically endangered. So it's important for us to be able to share messaging about how to protect the environment and wildlife, but also how to consider protecting animals like the African penguin, which potentially could go functionally extinct within the next 10 years. Once they're gone, and we can't bring them back. And then within the environment there, everything's an ecosystem, right? So they have prey items that they help maintain. There are predators that live off this species. There are Cape fur seals out there, great white sharks, all of those animals that need to prey on the penguin. And then the penguin in turn needs to have prey items that they're eating as well to kind of keep that in balance. One of the things that we do with these animals as ambassadors for their species is we work with them every single day. So different from an animal that is a habitat animal that you go and you just visit, these animals are desensitized to lots of people, lots of changes in their environment. They're really comfortable and confident. So we're able to give that up-close guest experience, and they're perfectly fine with it. So we offer them a variety of enrichment every single day. Some items are visual only, some items kind of enhance their natural behaviors or encourage them to have some other natural behaviors. Something like this would be mimicking twigs or sticks or things they might find to bring back to their nest. So we'll utilize that. They also, because they have such good eyesight, we might use a laser pointer or things that they can fixate because they will follow the fish in the ocean. Basically the sun's going to reflect on those scales, so it looks like little beams of light as they're swimming through the shallow waters. So a lot of times if we have a fly that's in here or a small bug, we'll watch them just chase it around the room. He has a really good healthcare plan. We have a veterinary staff that are here every single day in case we see any medical concerns with them. We feed restaurant quality fish. All of our birds are actually hand fed, so it's a way for us to be able to notate how much food they're eating. We can anticipate seasons that they're going to be going through, whether it's their molting season or their nesting and breeding season. We're able to kind of track if there's any changes behaviorally with these animals, because with birds especially, if they're going to become medical, it's going to be very subtle and you're not going to be able to see it until they're quite medical. Something that's interesting about them is they have really dense feathers. Because they're from a warm climate, they have to be able to thermoregulate. So out in the air, it's hot. So they have no feathers on their feet And then they generally have what are called eye patches, so no feathers over the top of their eyes, so they can help thermoregulate. They also have those dense feathers that they waterproof, because it's called a uripitial gland. It's a gland that's on the base of their tail, and they can waterproof their entire body, so all of their feathers prevent any water from penetrating, because the climate of the ocean is very cold. They are called an African penguin, but their kind of other name is the beach donkey, and they're called the beach donkey because essentially when they get very excited and they do a full bray, they sound just like a donkey. Oh, they're spunky. I think they have their own unique personalities from one animal to the other, which is kind of interesting, but they also really pick how they're gonna feel about you. One minute they might be 100% fine, and the next minute they are not. And because they are a warm weather species, they're a little bit more territorial than some other penguins, so they can be pretty aggressive when they wanna be. So working on relationships is another thing our team works on a lot, is working with the animals every single day and building that bond so that they respond to us very positively. That's what we want. And again, that's gonna help us as we train them those medical behaviors so they can help participate in their own health care. We have a really specific program that's specialized for each species that we work with. Obviously, the best type of diet that we can get, working with nutritionists to make sure that they're getting exactly what we need, a variety of diet. These animals get 6 to 8 different species of fish that can rotate around to make sure, just like if they were perusing out in the ocean and trying to hunt for food, they're gonna kind of gobble down what they find first. They do have preferences, so we try to ensure that not only do they get their preference, but just like, kids at home, we want you to eat your vegetables before you eat the cake. We want to make sure that we do the same thing with our animals. Penguins, a lot of people say that they waddle because they don't have knees, because you don't see them bending their knees, but they actually do have knees. They're just very far up in their lower chest area, so he can't bend them the way you and I can. Come on, let's go.
For information about the penguins, along with the many other educational opportunities, log on to flaquarium.org. And we'll be right back.
What happens to your pet if something happens to you? It's a tough question, but an important one. At Dante's Den Foundation, we offer a solution. It's called Lifetime Care, a way to ensure your pet continues to live the life you've always shared. It's a chance to determine exactly what happens to your beloved friend in the event of your passing. For more on how you can provide the kind of life your pet deserves, visit us at dantesden.org.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org.
We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some educational and engaging encounters. And until then, thanks for watching.
They are very different than typical flighted birds because they don't drop feathers throughout the year. They do what's called a catastrophic molt. So they'll only drop their feathers once a year. They drop them all at once, get new feathers, re-waterproof those new feathers, and then they're ready to go fishing again. Oh, they are pretty much a bald chicken.